Morning, I'm just in the parts container gathering up a couple of bits for today. So it's Tuesday morning and I'm just about to set off to this two-way pipework job that's not working, so should be good. I think it might have an engine management light to look at as well as a couple of other bits, so yeah, we'll see how we go. So I've come to this 14 tonner which is outside at the moment, getting some pipes put on it by the pipe fitter. And he just wanted us to have a look at this. So it's got an error code. If I just come on. This is a little 27 M6222, and I've had a look in the workshop manual, and that code doesn't exist according to the manual. But I felt like I'd had it before, and when I went and looked back at my pictures of jobs that I've done. It was for this overload warning pressure sensor, which is here. So I've had a look at the schematic. Basically, the brown wire there is your earth, yellow is the 5-volt feed, and blue is the signal back to the controller. So this is my controller here. There's two on this. There's one underneath the floor plate, and this one, which is your main one. So when I look at the schematic, I need to get to pin number 19 in here. So I unplugged this and did a continuity test between that plug on the boom and here, and there was no continuity on the blue wire. The yellow wires going to this one had continuity there, and earth was working as well. So continuity to here, no continuity, so I've got a broken wire. So I then thought, well, is this all one piece of wire going all the way back to the to the machine controller? So I took all this floor plate out, traced this wiring into the cab from outside, and there's a plug here. So if I separated this plug, continuity, the blue wire from there to the controller, I've got good continuity. So I know that the wire for here, the controller is good, which is a relief, because that'll go into a great bunch of main harness, and you can see there's not much space in there. So when I continuity from the plug for the pressure switch or pressure sensor to here, there's no continuity. So I know that between here and that plug there, the blue wire is broken. So I've done a check. The machine's out of warranty. If it was in warranty, I'd replace this bit of harness, because it only goes out of here through the joint and up and out. But what I'll do, because it's not under warranty, I've spoke with the customer, it'll just be a lot cheaper to pull this wiring back, or pull this sheathing back to about here, cut the wire in and splice in a new wire up to the pressure sensor switch there. So that's what I'm going to do. Bit of a little bonus job while I'm here. He also wants us to change the engine oil and filter on a 225 as well, so it's turned into a busy little day. So I'm on this older 140 LC3, and the two-way hydraulics aren't working, so I've got the machine in shear mode, and that should tense that line up on the other side when I work this thumb wheel. So it's not working. So what I can do first is go into the service menu, go to monitoring, vehicle analog, and scroll to the flow control right hand lever. So when I move the thumb wheel down the way, it drops to 1000 millivolts, and when I move it up the way, go to about 4 there or thereabouts. So that's good. So that tells me that the wiring from here to behind the seat, there's a controller, EPOS they call it, behind the seat. That's all working. So I know that the EPOS, the machine, is seeing this thumb wheel, so everything in there should be good. So next I'm going to go down underneath the cab and basically the electronic signal from the EPOS should then output to the pilot block underneath the cab. So I'm going to put my multimeter in there and make sure that what I'm doing here is translating to down at the valves there. If it is, then I suspect the valves are probably stuck and jammed. So this is the valve block under here that basically translates your electric signal into a pilot signal, which then, as we talked about in Friday's video, moves the spool backwards and forwards. So I've unplugged this one. I'll do the same for the solenoid next door, but what I've got is a jumper wire here, because obviously my arms won't reach from down here to up there. I'll plug that into there and then run it up into the cab here. So I'll put the multimeter into there and there. Like that. So I've got my multimeter into my plug here that I've run the wire out from under there. So I've got 2 volts there at the minute. Now then, if I'm balancing this on my chin, if I move the joystick, you can see there it's showing 27 volts. So the EPOS is sending 27 volts down to that control valve, but nothing's happening. So that tells me the control valve is seized up and not working. So I've got one of them on the van. I'll change that out and see if we get our 2-way pipe work back. Right, that's it off. So we've got this side here, P for pressure, so that's your pilot pressure, and the other side is T, which is your tank. And then you've got A and B. So you energize that coil, pilot pressure goes into here, and then that pressure shoves on your spool, pushes the spool, and then lets you pump pressure up the hammer lines, which would be to open or close your grab if you had a grab on it. And then it's the same principle for this one. Pilot pressure comes in, into here, and pop, the oil comes out and shoves your spool the other way. So what is happening is I'm getting power into here, but these aren't reacting, so the oil is just going merrily through the other side. So I'm going to replace this and try it. Fingers crossed, should be good to go. So I've got the valve on now. I've just started it, and here's the moment of truth. So I've got my revs up. If the machine sees that pilot valve underneath the cab, it should rev up. It is, and you can see them pipes. So next job is to have a look at that check engine light. So again, I'll go into the service menu. I'll scroll down to failure information, real-time failure. We've got relief pressure up switch, pump pressure switch, power stage intake heater, so we'll get a look at that. So yeah, I got some filters fired on the 225, and job's a good one. So yeah, I've just nipped through towards Appleby here. The Lola certificates that we were doing last week, was it? I've got to do another little one, so I'll get that done and out of the way. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. So tomorrow will be Wednesday. Alright, it's Wednesday morning now, and the job that I was going to do today, I was going to go and service a 140 zero tail swing, but it's out on a job, and the customer just says, oh, just get it when it's back in the yard, so he's going to let us know when it's back. I've got a final drive off one of his 235s to rebuild, so I've ordered the bits for that today. And yeah, I've actually got worked up now. There's not an awful lot to do, so I'll probably I'll do a bit of online training, brush up on my new machines, and yeah, I did send a message to HQ yesterday evening saying that I was kind of caught up, and if they needed a hand with anything I was available, but as of yet there's no came in, so just a one of them. Spent 3 weeks rushing around the countryside. I've put 2,500 miles on the van in 3 weeks, and we're all caught up. So yeah, I don't know, I don't think you'll want to see us doing online training today, but we'll see what happens. The phone might ring. Yeah, is what it is. So this is how my day's panning out. I'm just doing some online training. I've just done a course on the DL-7 loading shovels, and I've done a course on the new shape DX2735s. I'm just about to start one on the DX100W, so yeah, it's pretty crap outside otherwise, so it's not a bad thing to be indoors today. There we go, 100% on my test. So at the end of each training, so it's sort of like a slideshow. It's like an interactive slideshow. You kind of click boxes and it tells you about individual parts and things, and then at the very end you've got a sort of multiple choice test, which is 10 questions. To pass the test you need to get at least 80% right, so you need 8 out of 10. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for the -7 ducks, which is a wheel digger. If you don't know what a duck is, a wheel digger is an excavator with wheels instead of tracks. So there you go, 100%. So what Doosan create for you is like a online training schedule type of thing. So obviously these are all the ones that I've completed, and then these red ones are the ones that are still to do. So you have to sort of complete these before the end of the year. So this is my training schedule for 2022. So obviously some of these ones I completed last year. And quite often when you go to the training courses at the training school, which will either be in the Czech Republic or they do sort of local training courses at a Doosan dealership, quite often you have to have some of these prerequisites, these online courses, passed and complete. So you're kind of going to the training courses with a little bit of background history. So yeah, like I say, it's not a bad thing to do on a wet, windy day. After 5 o'clock now, I'm calling it a day. I've been in front of the laptop for most of the day doing the online training. Don't mind doing it, to be fair. It's this year, on this last 6 months, and into this year as well, Doosan are releasing a lot of new products. That DX100W that I spoke about, that's a brand new machine, completely fresh. So it's been interesting to kind of learn about the sort of machine layouts and its functionality and things like that. Also DX27s, they're a very popular mini digger for us that we sell, and there'll be a lot of those going out as well, I would imagine, once they're released. So having a bit of a foundation, bit of a head start for sort of before they get released into the wild, certainly isn't a bad thing. Back to fixing diggers tomorrow. I've got that DX27 with the overload warning pressure sensor wiring fault. I'm going to go and put that new loom into that arrived this afternoon, and also I've got to put a new engine harness into that 140 that we repaired yesterday. Having spoke to the customer and shown him the kind of condition that it's in, he's on with tidying the machine up at the moment, so we're going to future-proof the machine, fresh wiring in there, because I mean the old loom in that is absolutely knackered. It's running around the engine, it gets hot, wires get brittle and they break, so to avoid future breakdowns we're going to put a new loom in it, so that's good. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything and it helps me grow the channel and reach a wider audience. If there's anything you'd like to see or any questions that you've got for me after watching some of these videos, leave it down in the comments and I'll either address it in a video or I'll answer you directly back in the comments. But yeah, thanks very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.